Right, welcome back, and we have with us over the phone Dr. Cherif Amir, Professor of International Relations, to highlight the visit of President Fattah Sisi to the United Arab Emirates and the outcome of it. Dr. Cherif, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, and we're speaking about a very strategic visit of President Fattah Sisi to the United Arab Emirates, and how far do you think it or the results or the outcome of it were significant? Hello?
Yeah, I didn't hear the rest of the question.
Right, the significance of the visit of President Fattah Sisi to the United Arab Emirates.
Well, indeed, as you just said, it's a historical and strategic visit. Maybe it seems to lots of people that it's in the bilateral relations and brotherhood between the two countries and the two peoples, but this time it's different. First of all, President Sisi got the Legion of Sheikh Zayed, which is the highest decoration in the state of the Emirates, and it's given not only to heads of states, but to those who are really have influence in the international community. And this is a very significant message to all the region and to the international community about the leadership of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his role in several issues. He prevented escalations in several fronts in the Middle East by Egypt's wise positions. This is one of them. And the second thing is that we know that now the Emirates are working in remaking their strategy in the Middle East after the war of Yemen. And once again, they know that Egypt is the solid rock of the Middle East, the solid rock of the Arab world. We are seeing now that Turkey and Iran are threatening the regional and the Arab interests. And the Emirates know that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is a man who stands to his own word when he said, the moment there will be any danger for the Gulf states, our brothers should know that it will be a matter of time and we will be there for them. Maybe things didn't seem to everyone what took place, but we have also a war of intelligence, and the coordination between the two countries is excellent in combating terrorism, in the financing of terrorism, fighting the influence of Iran and Turkey in the region, and waging war against all what is threatening the Arab security internally and regionally. The second point, of course, is what we have seen the economic level. It has a message to not only to the bilateral relations, but to the whole world, that once the Emirates decides to invest $20 billion in one visit, that means that something is very important happening in Egypt. And let me give you an insight of that. You have the projects that are taking place in Egypt are a positive sign to all of the world that this is a stable country working upon a calendar and knows exactly when to start and when to finish.
Right. Let me ask you here, Dr. Amir, and we're speaking about a partnership, or rather a further partnership between Egypt and the United Arab Emirates, where we're speaking about establishing a strategic joint venture or an investment platform of about $20 billion on several sectors, while on the other hand, the President, during his visit to the United Arab Emirates, he already visited an important exhibition on oil. So one of these sectors this joint venture will be covering is the energy and the renewable energy. Others definitely would be technology, food, real estate, tourism, healthcare, different sectors. From your point of view, how far does this reflect the keenness of both countries to further boost bilateral relations on different means, not just strategically, not just politically, but also economically and different other spheres?
As we see now that Egypt in the gas fields is one of the most strategic countries having this energy, the resources of the gas. And the Emirates, they always work upon a visionary study with whom they should work. And let me tell you that when they were this platform about the $20 billion investment and the cooperation with Egypt on these fields, it's not based on fraternity or brotherhood or friendship, because business for every country is based upon the profit and the interest. And I think that the Emirates, they know very well that Egypt is a promising country in the energy fields, that Egypt has started really at the era of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, serious work inside Egypt for developing its own infrastructure. We are, as Egyptians, we are amazed about what we are seeing with our own eyes. For instance, today I was in Heliopolis. Look, the city has changed. The infrastructure changed in a mega city in a matter of months. This is for an investor who comes and sees that, he knows that this country is serious about development. So I think that the Emirates, who are one of the major investors in the world, they know where to put their money and they know with whom they should work. So they know that Egypt is a serious country about its economic developments. Of course, we have setbacks. Every country has setbacks. Of course, we have challenges of terrorism, poverty, all what we have seen since what's called the Arab Spring, and we paid a very heavy price. But as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi promised the Egyptians from the beginning, he said, this is the deal that I'm making with you, that we will work together, we will pay sacrifices and very high prices, but we have to do it. If not, we will be a failed state. I think that this is the message that now being transferred through the Emirates to the world, although Al Jazeera and other media are trying to portray things in a dark way in Egypt, but the message, when the world will see, the world markets will see that the Emirates started working with Egypt on the platform of $20 billion in the energy fields and all the other fields and the infrastructure. That means that something really serious and promising is happening in Egypt, and that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is very clear about his plans, that this country has to have a strong infrastructure in order to have a strong economy, because this is the way that we will bring stability. There is another thing that is very important, the laws inside Egypt. Everyone knows now that we are fighting corruption. Of course, we won't end corruption in one day. It was through decades. But President Sisi installed a new system that every penny that will be spent in Egypt has to have a reason. And this is from his background before even being elected, democratically elected as president. This is his way of working. So his personality for the other world leaders is convincing that this man knows how to plan and how to make these plans on the soil of Egypt real. So I think that this visit was the stamp of the success of Egypt's development, and every Egyptian should be proud of it, because we all know that every country, when they invest where they will have the profits. So the Emirates, when they will invest $20 billion, they know exactly what is the profit, and that Egypt is a promising country. Yes. And I'm very happy for that.
Yes. When we speak about these sectors that were included in such a joint venture platform they signed. We are speaking about important sectors that Egypt is putting in the forefront of its priorities in in Egypt's developmental vision of 2030. We're speaking about food, we're speaking about healthcare, we're speaking about financial services, we're speaking about infrastructure, definitely energy. How far do you think that both the United Arab Emirates and Egypt are very much in need of each other, not just as, because it's very well known that they are so brotherly countries with very special strategic relations, but also they are in need of each other in boosting such investments?
That's an excellent question. It's an excellent question because this is the need, of course, of both countries, Cairo and Abu Dhabi. You have seen, we are witnessing what's happening in the region. Of course, we're not happy about what happened to Syria, to Libya, to Yemen, to Iraq, the devastation that's taking place everywhere, the invasions made by Turkey, by the infiltrations made by Iran. I think that the Emirates understand now that they need a strong ally. The Western world seeks its own interests, and they cannot depend on the Western world in this. And this comes back in the past to the wisdom of Sheikh Zayed when before he died, he gave this statement to his children, and he said, "Egypt is your priority." And I heard this from the mouth of the responsibles in France when I was there with the Bureau of Press of the Emirates. They said that if Egypt falls, we will all fall. If Egypt's success is our success, and this is what Sheikh Zayed told us. So I think that the Emirates know they need Egypt because Egypt is the solid rock. They know Egypt is the priority for the Western world, also that it should have always stability. Egypt has the strongest military, the prestigious military, who doesn't make any aggression but defends the interests of Egypt and the Arab world. And they know also that the leadership now in Egypt is serious about developing the country. That President Sisi, a man who has the truth on his mouth. He doesn't make a blackmail like Erdogan make with the others. So they know that Egypt is the solid rock, and they are investing in this solid rock. On the other side, we know that the Emirates stood with the Egyptian people, with the Egyptian army, with the Egyptian leadership in the crisis when there was this 2013 popular revolution. And unfortunately, the Western world didn't take any side towards the people of Egypt. The Emirates were there. Their funding economically was there. They started giving trust, although at that time nothing was clear. Even we, the Egyptians, who didn't know what was going to happen next day, they believed in Egypt. They believe in Egypt's economy. They believe in Egypt's seriousness to work. And fortunately, their bet was real, and it was the success of Egypt. So I think, yes, both countries need each other. I always say in my analysis, as in the European Union, there is France and Germany. In the Arab world, there is Egypt and the Emirates. Both sides are completing each other. We have the manpower, we have the economy, we have the culture, we have the strategic position in the Suez Canal and the Red Sea and the Mediterranean. We have the strongest army, the prestigious army in the Middle East, and we're proud of our army and the leadership of Egypt, of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And at the same time, we need the support of the Emirates because the world is watching always the Emirates, how they spend their money. So I bet now in London, in Paris, and every capital now in the markets, they know that the Emirates are spending all their investments now in Egypt, and this is a message, a clear message that Egypt, as President Sisi said, one day we will try to be like Hong Kong. It would take time, but we will work hard. I think the message now is clear. Invest in Egypt. Egypt is a solid rock.
Yes, definitely, Dr. Cherif Amir, Professor of International Relations. Definitely, this is what we want to promote invest in Egypt. Egypt is doing its best for completing its reforms programs. It has carries out with many steps regarding these issues and is continuing on with